How inflation happens. Number 9. The Cantillon effect. The Cantillon effect is a concept in economics that explains how inflation happens. It states that the first recipients of newly created money benefit at the expense of those who receive the new money later on. This is because the early recipients are able to use the new money to purchase goods and services before the price of those goods and services rises due to the influx of new money. This causes a redistribution of wealth from those who receive the new money later on to those who received it first. In other words, the early recipients of new money gain purchasing power while those who receive the new money later on lose purchasing power due to inflation. Number 8. Monetary inflation as hidden tax. Monetary inflation is when the money supply in an economy increases faster than the supply of goods and services. It can be caused by a central bank printing more money or when it reduces the amount of money it requires banks to hold in reserve. When the money supply increases faster than the goods and services, it causes prices to rise, resulting in inflation. Monetary inflation can also act as a hidden tax because it reduces the purchasing power of a unit of currency. When more money is printed, it causes a devaluation of the currency, which decreases the purchasing power of the money held by the public. This effectively taxes the public because their money is worth less than it was before. This means they have to spend more money to purchase the same goods and services they previously did. This hidden tax works most effectively on people who are on a fixed income, such as retirees, as their income does not increase with the inflation, so the price of goods and services rises faster than their income. Number 7. Compared to counterfeiting. Inflation happens when the supply of money increases faster than the demand for goods and services. This increase in money supply is usually caused by an increase in spending by the government or other entities. Inflation can also happen when the cost of goods and services rises faster than people's wages or salaries. Contrasted to counterfeiting, which is the act of producing and using counterfeit currency, inflation is not the result of any illegality. Inflation occurs when the amount of money in circulation increases faster than the demand for goods and services. Counterfeiting, on the other hand, is a criminal act that involves the production and circulation of fake money or other forms of currency. Inflation does not require criminal activity and can be caused by a variety of factors such as increased government spending or a rise in the cost of goods and services. Additionally, counterfeiting is illegal and carries serious penalties while inflation does not carry any legal consequences. Number 6. Misconceptions. Inflation misconceptions. Inflation is not caused by any one single factor, and it is a complex phenomenon that depends on many factors. Common misconceptions about inflation include the belief that it is caused only by high prices, or that it is always bad and should be avoided. In reality, inflation is a natural part of an economy and can actually be beneficial in certain circumstances. It is important to understand what drives inflation in order to understand how to make the most of it. Factors that affect inflation include the level of economic activity, the supply and demand of a given currency, and government policies. Inflation occurs when the money supply in an economy increases and the amount of goods and services remain the same. As a result, the same amount of money is now able to purchase fewer goods and services, resulting in higher prices. This is why central banks seek to stabilize the money supply to prevent inflation. Inflation can also be caused by an increase in demand for goods and services. When there is an increase in demand for goods and services, prices tend to rise. Therefore, higher demand can lead to an increase in prices and, subsequently, inflation. Inflation can also be caused by an increase in the cost of production, as businesses will need to pass on the increase in their costs to consumers. Inflation should not be confused with hyperinflation, which is a rapid and extreme increase in prices caused by a large increase in the money supply. Hyperinflation is often caused by an economic crisis or political instability, and can lead to an economic crash. In order to understand inflation, it is important to be aware of the factors that drive it. Understanding the different misconceptions about inflation can help to better manage it and make the most of it. Number 5. Effects of inflation. Inflation is an economic phenomenon in which prices for goods and services rise over time. This results in a decrease in purchasing power as it takes more money to purchase the same item. The effects of inflation can have far-reaching implications on individuals, businesses, and the overall economy. For individuals, inflation can reduce the purchasing power of their income, leading to an overall decrease in their standard of living. As prices increase, individuals must pay more for the same goods and services, making it difficult to maintain the same lifestyle as previously. Businesses can also suffer due to inflation as rising costs can reduce profits and make it difficult to remain competitive in the market. For the overall economy, inflation can reduce market efficiency, leading to reduced growth and productivity. Inflation can also create an uneven distribution of wealth as the cost of living increases for those with lower incomes or fixed incomes. This can lead to greater inequality and can even lead to political unrest. Additionally, higher inflation can lead to higher interest rates, which can make it difficult for businesses to access capital and make investments. Number 4. Historical development of the definition. The term inflation, as defined by the British Currency School, was used strictly to denote an increase in the supply of money that consisted in the creation of currency and bank deposits unbacked by gold. It became accepted in the English-speaking world from the mid-19th century. However, because the writers of the British Currency School neglected to consider bank deposits as part of the money supply, their policies as adopted in Great Britain failed to prevent inflation and the business cycle. The school's doctrines and policies fell into profound disrepute by the late 19th century, and its definition of inflation was replaced by that of the opposing banking school, which saw inflation as a state in which the money supply exceeds the needs of trade. From there, it was a short step to the currently prevailing definition of inflation as an increase in the price level. Number 3. Limits on printing money. Limits on printing money is one way that governments can help regulate inflation. When governments have too much money in circulation, prices increase and inflation is likely to occur. Therefore, by limiting the amount of money that can be printed, governments are trying to control how much money is in circulation, thereby helping to maintain a stable level of inflation. This can be done through various methods, such as setting a maximum number of notes a government can print, or by setting limits on the amount of money that banks can lend out. By limiting the amount of money that is in circulation, governments can help maintain an optimal level of inflation. Number 2. Unbacked money. Unbacked money is a type of currency that does not have any assets backing it. This means that the value of the currency is based solely on the trust of the population. When governments or banks produce too much of this type of currency, it can lead to inflation. Inflation happens when the currency becomes so plentiful that it is not worth as much and prices for goods and services go up. For example, if the government prints more money than is necessary to meet the needs of the population, it can cause prices to skyrocket. This is because the extra currency causes a decrease in the value of currency already in circulation, leading to inflation. Number 1. Increase in money supply. Inflation is an economic phenomenon marked by a sustained increase in prices over a period of time. Inflation is typically caused by an increase in the money supply. When more money enters an economy, the value of that money decreases relative to the amount of goods and services available. As a result, prices increase as demand for goods and services rises to correspond with the increased supply of money. The more money that enters an economy, the greater the rate of inflation. This process of inflation is also known as monetary inflation, due to its direct link with the money supply. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video about how inflation happens, Make sure to check out our other videos about the most interesting and unique curiosities from around the world. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single upload. See you soon!